The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by my tag team partner, the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast. Today, we're reaching back far into the annals of WWE.
You know, I knew you were going to make that joke. I honestly would have made a lot of money off you if we'd made a bet about whether or not you were going to make that joke.
Well, no,
without somehow poisoning the well. If there was if I could make a bet with the listener, I would have just made the exact same amount of money we've made from the listener so far.
Approximately $5 that I never get.
There we go.
So, hi guys. We have been discussing this. We mentioned it on last week's podcast, I believe, but we finally sat down and done did it because we had nothing else to talk about.
Because it was time, and we felt like the idea had matured to the point that we should do it now. What the fuck are you doing? Don't tell them we don't have any ideas.
We don't have a fourth wall. Fuck it. It's not that we don't have ideas. We actually have plenty of great ideas. It's just that nothing was relevant this week. So this is one of the ideas we pulled up. And thank God, because how many weeks have we gone where we're just like, I don't know what podcast ams. I guess we just talk about Steam releases.
I guess we just steal the worst part from a more popular podcast.
Yeah. Those have been some pretty funny podcasts, though. Anyway, old WWE, WWF, www.wcom pay-per-views, they might be good.
They might not be.
I've actually only ever seen maybe one or two classic WWF pay-per-views in my life.
I've seen more, because I trawl back through the network for pay-per-views more, but not in full. And when we were kids, we were both... Spoilers, neither of us come from rich families.
Hell no.
So, we didn't see pay-per-views as a kid.
I grew up in the nice part of the ghetto, but it was still the ghetto. Money was not... Money weren't no thing. But
I grew up on a farm in eastern Kentucky, so...
It somehow was also the ghetto.
So we didn't watch a lot of pay-per-views. I saw a couple. My parents did, made sure I saw like a couple really important ones, and I'm very thankful to them for that because it was a big formative part of my childhood, and they were fucking expensive.
My uncle had one taped, and my mom bought one for me. It was the one where Stone Cold faced Eric Bischoff for the right to control the WWE, and Bischoff won, and I was happy.
One of the first pay-per-views I saw it because they had it on tape at our local video store, and it was Shawn Michaels versus Steve Austin, which I found out, for a long time was one of my favorite wrestling matches. I found out later they both hate that match and think it's garbage. I disagree, fellas. I know you hate it because it wasn't your best technical work, but for me that was my jam because it was the one I could see. So, context.
Yeah. But the other reason we're going to go back through and check these out is because, I found we were disagreeing a lot with Vox Populi when it comes to more recent WWE pay-per-views. In fact, probably the last year's worth. We tapped into...
And not just that we hated everything. We liked all the ones they disliked, and we disliked all the ones they liked. It was weird.
With a little bit of overlap, but really not as much as you'd even think. Just tapping into the various sources we have for what internet people think of wrestling in it. Yeah, they didn't agree with us. So here's a little experiment we're doing. We're not watching old Raws for the time being.
Because we don't watch new Raws. We've just been watching, for the last 2 years, we've just been watching the pay-per-views. And the video packages and such have served as our way in. I'll watch a Raw occasionally, but occasionally. I watch SmackDown occasionally. And in the last 6 or so months, not at all. So, because we've only been watching the pay-per-views, Sport brought up that it might be tainting our view of the product. We might be missing crucial context as to why something is so good. So we're going to run an experiment, and we're going to watch these pay-per-views, and we have the well-established opinion of the internet on these pay-per-views, and we're going to see if our opinions wildly differ, and if it might be because, again, we're missing important context.
We're starting a little before our childhoods in 1996, which was my childhood, but I wasn't watching wrestling at the time.
I have some vague memories of watching wrestling, but, not really, nothing where it was still Diesel and not Kevin Hart. Or Kevin Nash.
He changed a lot over the years.
He did. The funny thing is, eerily, he really didn't. He's short-haired and he's gray now, but otherwise he looks the same. It's scary. But where his name wasn't Kevin Nash.
Right. And, I knew of these guys, but I also had a bunch of trading cards and, the video games and magazines. When my mom would take me shopping, I'd go to the magazine aisle and I'd leaf through the WWE magazines.
So we're starting after the start of the Monday Night Wars, because those started in September of 95. But we want to start with a WrestleMania. We might want to start with a WrestleMania because that's the end of one wrestling year's storylines and the beginning of the next storyline. So technically the Raw after is the beginning of the next storylines, but
this gives us context.
It gives us context of where things were, and it also gives us a nice firm fiscal year starting point.
Yep.
So we're going to start with WrestleMania 12 from 1996. And we watched it over the course of 2 days.
Yeah, it spread out over those 2 days, too. It was not because it was a hard sit, just because
we started it late, and then I wanted to go to sleep, and then one of the matches was bad enough that I kind of started to nod off. So, and
I had some shit to do for a hot minute, so...
And then we watched the rest the next day.
So, this show began for us with Vader, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog with Jim Cornette, defeating Ahmed Johnson, Jake Roberts, and Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji. We're not going to worry about spoilers because these pay-per-views are starting at 30 years old.
30? 20.
90, 10. You're right. Wait, yeah, 20.
We're not old yet, buddy.
I'm 30. 31. Nearly 32.
God dang.
Did you guys ever wonder why I said 20,000 and whatever the first time I said
because it was a funny meme. Stop, we
I'm
need a
really
fourth
bad
wall.
at math.
20 years old.
Yeah, but they're starting at over to 21 years old.
21, yeah.
They're starting old enough to drink if you don't know what happens.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, I don't fucking care. I'm sorry.
So, yeah. This match was kind of all over the place, but I will say I enjoyed it on the whole.
Yeah, it was a fun, romp. It wasn't anything overly heavy. I enjoyed watching all these dudes wrestle. I really enjoyed watching Vader wrestle.
I don't like Vader. I don't care for him at all.
As a person, no, but I like one of his moves a whole lot.
Well, sure. I was glad to see Owen. I was glad to see Ahmed Johnson.
Ahmed Johnson's way fucking better than everyone said. Because, again,
he was sloppy.
I think he was just like a member of the Nation of Domination by the time I was watching.
No, he wasn't. He was just gone.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Straight up gone.
By the time I really started watching, no, he wrestled super sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
He wrestled like Billy Gunn. But
Homeboy wrestled worse than Billy Gunn.
But he was way better than people gave him. People have since given him credit for in my presence. Because he wasn't terrible.
No, he was just
Jake, I'm made of pure cocaine Roberts was about the same quality, but I'm given to understand there are two different places on their graph, we'll say.
Owen was great. Yokozuna was pretty good. Also, looking at that guy, I don't know how as a youth I ever believed he was Chinese.
I mean, you basically just had to have never seen...
Or Japanese or whatever.
Had to have never seen an Asian person before.
Good God. Especially this pay-per-view because he has a little goatee, and that's a Samoan-ass goatee.
Dude, Samoan, what do you want?
Whatever. Yeah, it was a fine match. I think it's kind of weird that the 6-man tag match was on the pay-per-view and not the tag team title match.
That gives you an idea of how important tag team titles were. One.
I guess.
And 2, I mean, the Godwins were in that match. So maybe Vince didn't want them on WrestleMania.
The future Midian. I mean, he was going to go on to be a big sensation with an eyeball.
Is he Phineas I. Godwin, I believe he was?
Yes. Phineas, yes.
Henry O. Godwin is a different person.
Yes.
And for anyone who's not a classic wrestling fan, go ahead, spell the initials out. They were farmers. I'll let you guess what kind of farmers. There you go. That's early 90s. That's
soy farmers.
Yeah, no. Pig farmers. That's early 90s WWE right there in a fucking nutshell.
You know, the funny thing is, I never noticed that. I mean, not up until today. I've realized it since then, but when I was young, no clue.
Didn't connect it?
Didn't click. I was a sheltered child.
Sheltered from initials?
Yeah, like, I didn't put shit together. I believe if you gave me a bill of goods, I'd be like, yep, sounds right. Okay.
Okay, good.
I want to say a few things before we continue on here. One, Jerry King Lawler as a young person. Jerry the King Lawler, excuse me. Not like Bret Hitman Hart.
We'll get there.
He just sounds like someone pitch shifted him up a little bit, or down over the course of the years, if you prefer. Whereas Vince on commentary is like 3 angry spirits in the same body, fighting for control of his voice.
He's like a regular normal man, possessed by David Hayter's ghost.
Well, he's like, he's got the regular Vince voice. We're talking about stuff's going on in wrestling.
No, it's not even that throaty back then, because he's being very announcer. It's the regular Vince voice. He's being an announcer. He has a deep voice, and he repeats himself a lot, and he kind of stutters a lot, and my God, he really isn't that very good on commentary. No, but he's got passion.
And then he does the "You're fired" Vince voice that we all know him for.
Whenever he's excited.
Wrestling, oh my God. And then there's this third one that I forgot about. You like Bev Bighead? Is that what's going on there? It's vintage rock. Oh, he's electrifying. Then he's got this third voice that I completely forgot about, which is ooh!
Which is like a Texas accent away from being a very surprised and or off-put Hank Hill. It's just literally the accent from being
Yeah. I can't even form words in that accent without it sounding ridiculous, because it sounds ridiculous, I suppose. But also, like, the commentary, 2 things about it. One, something you and I both kind of noticed is that, man, Michael Cole is just Vince's fucking sock puppet today.
He is, these days, Michael Cole is literally, Vince has his hands so far up his ass that Michael Cole can taste what kind of hand lotion Vince uses.
That's quality.
Fucking Christ. He has all the same catchphrases Michael Cole has. Devastating maneuver, vintage blank. He's just Michael Cole with a deeper voice who's way less good at commentary.
Oh my and oh my goodness as well.
Like, who's way less good at commentary.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes those little tiny moments when Michael Cole gets a chance to shine on his own look so much better.
Yeah.
By comparison.
But at the same time, I did really enjoy this commentary more. A, because it felt more genuine.
Because these are the words that these people are thinking of, instead of one of them being like a literal puppet. Yeah. Like, I have no...
There's not really anywhere...
the bit is complete. There's nowhere to go. He's just like lamb chop.
Yeah. Yeah,
and you can see it whenever Michael Cole talks, because when the camera cuts to him in modern pay-per-views, he's just got this dead-eyed stare into his teleprompter.
You can't see me shaking my head, but like, it's night and day how different, how much more enthusiastic, even when they're not talking about the match, even when they're trying to sell whatever.
Which they do. Even when they're trying to fill for time, which they do. It has a lot of the same problems, but it's night and day how much more tolerable those problems are, and how much more fun I find it as opposed to being insufferable, when it's clear that it's genuine, that it's these guys are doing their shtick, they're getting their shit in, they're being a personality.
And they talk to one another about like their experiences and stuff, and it just, I don't know, it feels real. It feels honest. I mean, it's still a lie, obviously, I get that, but it feels genuine, like I said before. For my money, at this point, I still kind of prefer a certain combination of the Nitro commentators from around this era. But, I mean, look, I prefer JR. But this is...
we were about to fight.
You know, so far, like, comparison-wise, I can see why they were a little hotter at this point.
I can't wait till we get to JR. It's not that long.
No, it can't be.
Was it not this year's? It's 97 Survivor Series.
Maybe. We discussed this before. My brain is not great for remembering wrestling trivia when it comes to like dates.
Oh yeah, but we'll know when it happens because welcome to Survivor Series. We're in Montreal. Oh, settle in, everybody.
This is gonna be a good one. The other thing is the crowd. The crowd was just.
Kayfabe wasn't dead yet.
Yeah.
Even if Vince had already made his speech, and he had, we looked it up, the Kayfabe died a slow death, and it wasn't dead yet.
No.
They were bought in. They were watching the show for the show that was being put on for them by the fucking athletes in the ring. They were not watching the show for what is creative doing with this talent I like from the independents backstage. Oh, this booking is terrible. No. They were watching the fucking wrestling program, and it's night and day. It's night and day how much better it is.
Yeah.
Just because when the fans are invested, even if they're not rooting for the guy I'm rooting for, which happened a couple times.
Oh yeah, they were rooting for Jake the Snake for a while, and I'm like, no.
But or they were rooting for Savio Vega, and I know he's a heel right now, but no, I'm gonna root for Steve Austin. Even when that was the case, it was okay. It's not like I was mad at them for booing the guy I liked. It was because they were clearly invested in the show.
Right. They really gave a shit. It wasn't just sing along with The Rock to sing along with The Rock. They were chanting because they wanted, Savio to win.
It's just the wrestling's about the same, I would say. A mixture of good matches, bad matches. Overall medium. It's just everything around it is so much cleaner.
Mm.
Yeah. And I don't mean less boobies. I mean like just less.
That's not at all where my mind went.
It's just less unnecessary distraction, less unnecessary horse shit.
You say that, and then our next match is the Hollywood Backlot Brawl, where Roddy Piper beat Goldust.
You know what? No, it's the beginning of the Hollywood Backlot Brawl, which took place pre-taped in a Hollywood backlot, and with wildly different cameras than the show usually uses, and it was ridiculous and incredibly overbooked, and he tried to kill him with a car, a solid gold Cadillac, because, whoo boy, they committed to the gimmick.
Hell yeah.
And I say that, and I still mean it. Even with all that shit, there's less unnecessary sludge fucking up my show. Because
I don't know, dude, the frequent cutaways to the white Bronco chase were pretty sludgy.
But the fans were into it.
I guess, yeah.
They weren't actively shitting. Like, alright, so if you did that today, you know what would happen?
That's fair.
You know what? Every time you cut to the white Bronco, it'd be a CM Punk chant.
Yeah.
Just a non-stop CM Punk chant. Or a JBL chant. Or a We're Awesome chant. Or they'd fucking throw a beach ball into the Titantron. I mean it. I stand by what I said.
I think that actually paints what you meant in a bit of a different light. It's not so much that there's not still stupid shit or weird shit or let me interrupt this match with this thing. You don't want to see shit. It's more that, like, at least the people care.
And at least all everyone of that shit is being perpetrated by the people who are making the show.
Yeah, so, let's go ahead and talk about the match here. The Hollywood thing, the backlot bit was stupid. The car chase
Oh, God, yeah, no, it was terrible.
stupid.
Look, let's be real. It was bad.
When they got back into the ring, it was a gorgeous disaster. I loved every minute of it. It was
that
hilarious.
Happened, after in between the second to last and the last match, right?
I believe so, yes.
So it was awful. It was awful, and oh man, an audience today they'd be so upset. And it was fucking glorious. It was hilarious.
The finale, man, when Roddy Piper grabs Goldust by the nuts and just swings him around the ring for a while.
And then Revenge kisses him.
Yes, it was epic. That was good shit. I've always heard so much shit about this match, and the backlot part was bad.
Oh yeah, it was genuinely really terrible.
But the in-ring bit was really fun.
Because they fucking had this bit with like a fucking fire hose where Roddy hit Goldust with like a full blast from an actual fire hose, and that had to suck.
Oh yeah.
Because that's painful.
Oh yeah.
That's legit painful. But like it fucked up the entire rest of the backlot segment because they were both soaked and the ground was wet, so they kept slipping and couldn't get any traction. Roddy fucked up a scoop slam. Because he tried and almost brained Goldust into the fucking hood of the car because he slipped. Badly planned. You could tell they didn't really think it through. And then it got to the ring and it was fucking grand.
That was epic.
It was as stupid and funny as Fashion Cops versus Day One is H.
Yes, sure. I would agree. Just like way more hardcore, I guess. And then we have Stone Cold Steve Austin with Ted DiBiase going over Savio Vega.
He's already Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
But he's not yet that Stone Cold Steve Austin doesn't happen until later this year at this year's King of the Ring.
Yes.
But with Ted DiBiase, he's the $1 million belt. He's the $1 million champion, and he beat Savio Vega by crunching his face with the $1 million belt. And then maybe something else. I don't really remember the finish of the match. I was watching Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestle pre neck injury, so he was actually wrestling really well, and I was just sort of taking it in, man.
The ring work was okay in this, but I wasn't invested at all.
From what everyone says, the best match Stone Cold Steve Austin and I think Savio Vega, was actually the match we're never going to see. It was the dark match where the power went out. Apparently, they fucking blew the roof off the joint, but there are no recordings of that match because the power was out.
Yeah, this was not great, and I've never cared about Savio Vega, but
I thought it was good, but all right. Look, they say if you can't be unbiased, state your biases. I'm basically gonna love every match Stone Cold Steve Austin is in. I'm just going to tell you that now. If there comes a match where Stone Cold Steve Austin's in it where I said it was, not that great, assume it was a fucking garbage fire.
Yeah. But it was fine. I mean, he wrestled well. They both wrestled well, actually. Savio Vega did some cool shit. I wasn't bought in at all.
And that's, maybe a function of not having seen the build-up.
It might be. Now, however, I was bought into the Ultimate Warrior charging down to the ring and wrecking Triple H.
In 1 minute and 39 seconds, he had a Goldberg match with Triple H.
Yes.
And he no-sold the pedigree, and it was as fucking hilarious as I've always been led to believe.
There was a nice segment afterward, because Triple H came down to the ring with Sable. They go backstage, they talk to Mark Marrow, who's making his debut.
Or Mark Morrow, as the announcer says.
I think he might even called him Marin or something
No, it was Morrow.
Was it just Morrow? Okay.
Maybe Mauro.
Yeah, it was Triple H comes back there or something like that?
Like, he happens to be walking through and, pushes Mark out of the way, and Mark takes exception, because he's mad, because, he just got wrecked by the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
He seems uninjured for having been wrecked by the Ultimate Warrior. He's relatively okay. He's just, got stunned for a second by the Distrucity. So they have a little rolly fist fight, and it's clearly the beginning of the let's these two feud, and then Sable will split off from Triple H and join Mark Marrow, and then they can be, Sable can help get Johnny B. Bad or some shit like that.
Hell yeah, dude, he
can help
awesome.
Get Johnny B. Bad some heat and help him, rise to the top. Cough, cough. He gets overshadowed by Sable and his career goes into the toilet. Cough.
Which is a damn shame because he was really good.
And Sable wasn't. But
No,
Sable has
Sable
boobs.
was never good.
Like 4chan, Sable was never good.
And had boobs. Moving
Wow.
on.
Yeah, no, alright. I might just start calling her 4chan from now on.
I don't know about that ocean of piss, but Brock Lesnar. So, a lot of jokes that are probably going on over a lot of your heads. The Undertaker beats Diesel in
Let's see here. Let's get the timeline on this. A 16-minute, 46-second snoozer.
it picked up toward the end a little bit.
It did, but Jesus. Dude, I love The Undertaker. You've heard me on this podcast wax poetic about how amazing The Undertaker is. And I recently found out that one of my best E-Fed characters is just Diesel. I didn't know this because, again, I never saw Diesel. I saw Kevin Nash. But one of my best E-Fed characters is just fucking Diesel. Oh, excuse me. We've been naming him wrong this whole time. So it was The Undertaker versus Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And, you know, the Undertaker was good. Big Daddy Cool Diesel was good, but it just, the chemistry wasn't there. And I felt Big Daddy Cool Diesel could have done a little bit more to hype up the dead man. Of course, then, you know, Big Daddy Diesel, or Big Daddy Diesel, Big Daddy Cool Diesel was, I'm still trying to shorten it, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, you know, was probably already thinking about being on his way out, so he maybe wasn't super invested in this match, but I feel like that's really on Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
The joke here is that Vince never called him anything other than Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
No, there's no comma either. It was always Big Daddy Cool Diesel. One phrase.
You know, and this is the fucked up thing. I thought that was a decent name back in the day. Big Daddy Cool.
Big Daddy Cool is a decent nickname. Diesel is a good name. Diesel's a great name,
This
actually.
was a great name.
But, Big Daddy Cool Diesel doesn't work for the same reason. Big match Jonathan Cena, the champ, hustle, loyalty, respect doesn't work.
Comma, Doctor of Thugonomics.
No comma, excuse me. The champ, big match Jonathan Cena, Doctor of Thugonomics, hustle, loyalty, respect. That would be what Vince would call him every time, and it doesn't work, Vincent. Pick one. Pick Diesel, then the next time say Big Daddy Cool, then say Diesel again, then say Diesel again, then say Big Daddy Cool. Mix them up. It's not hard.
Maybe invent some new stuff. Call him My Most Excellent Father.
Or,
who is large.
Or like the Manolith, or something like that. It's just like, just add in some new nicknames. It's not difficult. Don't say them all every time, you asshole.
I'd say at about the 10-minute mark, though. This match got okay. It was alright.
The final, it went home fine.
Yeah.
It went home fine. It's just a big chunk of it was just a fucking, was a combination of probably me being fairly tired.
Mm.
The match not being very high energy.
No.
And me genuinely being more and more annoyed every time he said Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And he said it a fucking lot. He said it as many times as Michael Cole mentions the WWE Network on your average Raw.
Now, and actually, the pacing to that is very similar to our main event here.
Only spread out, instead of in 16 minutes, in a motherfucking hour.
So, what did you hear about this match going in? Because again, I don't have wrestling trivia kind of sitting in my brain.
Never actually, well, I think we can both say this. Neither of us have ever seen this match in full before.
God, no.
I've seen clips. I've seen the end of it. You know, the boyhood dream come true. I've seen Shawn's entrance. Didn't see a lot from Bret Hart. Maybe it's because I didn't go looking. Spoiler alert, I never liked Bret Hart.
I did when I was younger, but not anymore.
He's a fine technical wrestler, but he's a fucking chode, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with this, so. But, like, what did you know anything about this match?
I had heard that this was one of Shawn Michaels' best matches of all time.
Okay.
And, I mean, with a career like Shawn's, that's fucking high praise. I had heard that it was probably Bret Hart's best match of all time. That or him versus Owen is usually what gets bandied back and forth, one or the other. And these are two of the guys who are hailed as the best of all time. If you ask for the 10 best wrestlers of all time, both these guys are going to be on the list, and one of them is probably going to be your number one, regardless of what wrestling fan you ask. If they're like a long-term wrestling fan. I mean, shit, I don't like the guy, but Bret would probably be on my top 10 list just because he's fucking excellent.
Just of like the best wrestlers, but not your favorite one.
Yeah, the best wrestlers of all time, Bret would definitely be in my top 10. He's fucking amazing.
I honestly have a hard time making a decision between Shawn and CM Punk, so.
But like one's one lists. and one's the other, and one is one and the other is two, sort of thing. And like I have been widely hailed as one of the best, and I always knew this was horseshit, but one of the best Iron Man matches of all time. You know how I know it's horseshit? It ended 1-0. That's a shitty Iron Man match. That's not using your stipulation.
You know, I agree, but they hyped it really well, and I feel like as bad as the commentary was, as mediocre as the commentary was the rest of the night, it really shone during this match. Because
well, honestly, they started actually being fucking commentators.
Yeah.
They started talking about the psychology of the match, and they started really trying to sell the first 20 minutes of this match, and they almost managed it. Then they just...
And that's another thing I think that bears mentioning. You know, commentary kind of sucks today because you don't know a match is ending until a match ends. So they can't, like, foreshadow on commentary what's going to go down in the ring. Which is what they spent the entire time doing, was they were like, this first fall is going to mean everything. This first fall is the most important thing. Yeah, motherfucker, because it's the only fall.
And that's the first thing that's like one of the first things they said.
Oh, hell yeah.
And, like, they spent the whole time talking about strategy, talking about where the guys might be psychologically, and they were dissecting the performances, and for every bad that they were the rest of this night, Vince McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler went to fucking work here.
Yeah, I mean, just the commentary alone really started me on the hype train about halfway through the match. And then the fans, as into it as they got, carried me through, and then the action hit that spark, and this ended up being a really good match.
I would put this match really high on my overall matches in total. Overall, this match was fucking great. The first 15 minutes, to be very conservative, I would normally say 20, but we'll say 15, aren't. They're boring.
I tell you what, anytime Bret Hart, he locked in a submission, it was not his finisher, it was bad.
It's just, and it was, the first 15 minutes were just, like, of the first 15 minutes of that match, 50% of it was a headlock. And
not like a working headlock, not like, oh, he's really tweaking him. Bret Hart has Shawn Michaels in the headlock position, and there they stand.
Or they more accurately, more often, there they lay down.
Yeah, it was not a good headlock.
And it was the beginning of the match. Like, and they would do things where they would separate, do a sequence, and then bring it back down, and I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to make sure the audience was invested and slowly build like a Japanese match main event.
Sure.
Into the, like into the ridiculous fucking over the top ending.
Yeah.
And they got to that ridiculous ending.
Hell fucking yeah, dude. I was like, they came
By the end of that match, I was sitting up on the edge of my seat. I was invested. I knew who won. The match is 21 years old.
I knew who won, but I didn't know that nobody won the actual Iron Man match.
Yeah.
I had no clue. And it ended, and I'm like, he didn't tap out? What the fuck? And they were like, we're restarting the fucking match. Somebody's got to win. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. This is the kind of shit I want to see today.
And that's a cool idea, but it's an absolute waste of your Iron Man match.
No, I mean, like, you know, when the GM or whatever comes down to the ring and it's like, no, this isn't how this is going to work.
Yeah, I always love that stuff.
That kind of shit.
I like that bit. I just like that bit.
Manage your shit, you know?
But, like, I still think it can't be the best Iron Man match of all time because an Iron Man match that ends 1-0 isn't the best Iron Man match of all time. It's just not. That's not what that stipulation's for.
And look, a slow build is a good idea, but those rest holds were fucking bullshit.
Like, at the ones at the beginning of the match. Actually, fun fact, they became less resty as the match went on. They started using working holds a lot more.
Sure.
Where it felt like they were really trying to put the hurt on the other motherfucker. As the match went on, like 45 minutes in the match, these dudes were working way harder than they were at like 10 minutes in.
Well, and I get it, because you don't want to gas out. You know, you don't want fucking
No, you want to have
Goldberg
the energy.
Versus
you want to have the energy for the big finish, as it were. And I get that, but God damn, dude. The first 15 minutes of this match are genuinely pretty boring.
Yeah.
But the remaining 45 are fucking are meh to fucking amazing.
Well, actually, we're on Wikipedia here. Let's see. Rob McNew of 411 Mania said that the main event wasn't for everyone. It's about a 3-star match for the first 40 minutes. The last 20 plus are an easy 5 stars. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's a fair average. He's actually a little bit more critical than I would be. But
the crowd picked up at about halfway through, so I got more.
I can see where, because the crowd picked up, and the match picked up, and God bless their hearts. Like Jerry and Vince went to work for this match.
They really did. Like they
were James Browning across the fucking stage for this match.
They did, man. This was really great commentary, just solid stuff. If you want to hear a well commentated match, if you want to hear two people's minds working, scrambling to make hay out of little to nothing, and then even more hay out of the shit they got, listen to the commentary for this main event. Because it was really, really good. That wraps it up.
Yeah. We plan to continue this experiment?
Yeah, it's way too early to call a verdict. Did I enjoy this pay-per-view more than the last few WWE ones I watched? Yes.
I mean, yeah. Fucking, yeah.
And it wasn't that great.
No,
let's be real
like
here.
A B. But
I don't even know if I'd go as far. B minus. But
C plus maybe. But it was a WrestleMania. It was fun. It had the pomp and the circumstance, and the Undertaker's entrance was super cool, like always. And I had a good ass time, and I didn't have to fight the crowd in the arena to do so.
Yeah, I mean that's I haven't been as critical of the crowd as you have in the last year or two. But I just never realized how much they mattered in my reaction to the show, almost as much as the announcers.
It's incidentals, man. Wrestlers make the music, and, announcers make the lyrics. That's JR's fucking philosophy.
But if somebody else is shout rapping over them.
If there's someone else in the arena fucking with a giant accordion playing one of Weird Al's fucking polkas, guess what? You're probably gonna have to pay at least part of your attention to that guy and trying to hate him into shutting up. Stop shitting on the thing you're watching. Why are you there? Why are you spending all that money to go hate a thing? What's wrong with you?
I like riffs and stuff. We like MST3K and we spent several years of our lives watching internet reviewer critics
just tear shit apart.
Even stuff we love. And that's fine, but it's that's not what I want out of my wrestling product. If I want to watch someone tear wrestling apart, I'll go watch Botchamania or WrestleCrap or something. I don't want to see that when I go watch the actual fucking product.
And I understand you pays your money, you gets to say what you wants, but you pays your money in the theater too, and you don't see motherfuckers bringing signs that say, push. If I remember the guy's name who made Hamilton, I would say that here, but to be fair, he's getting the best push in theater right now.
Yeah.
So, Lin-Manuel Miranda? Or something like that? But, you don't see that shit. You don't see, Andrew Lloyd Webber is overrated.
Andrew Lloyd Webber is overrated.
But they don't bring the signs, and they don't boo, and they don't chant Sweeney Todd whenever something's boring.
Please cut us out, because it can't get better.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!